Hey, everybody, and welcome to the second panel of the day for day 2 of Earp CurseCon. I remain your moderator, Jen Tidwell, and joining me once again is the delightful, beautiful, and wonderful Catherine Burrell
Aw.
and the lovable curmudgeon, Greg Lawson.
Hi.
Greg, I tell you, I know that we talked about your Christmas setup in yesterday's panel, but I have to say you're a dude after my own heart because I don't have a year-round Christmas setup, but I do have a year-round Halloween setup in a corner of my house.
Okay, that's the second time I've heard that today.
Really?
And I don't think that's healthy.
Well, but see, for me, it's Disney's Haunted Mansion, so it's all Haunted Mansion.
Oh, that's fun.
Like fun stuff. So yeah, it's more like a gentle Halloween and not like a dark gothic Halloween.
Now, do you eat those little tiny candy bars every day, or do you graduate to the big ones?
Oh my gosh, no.
Okay.
No.
All right then. You're kind of normal.
Listen, I finally lost all the baby weight. I'm.
That was good for you. That was fast.
Yeah, and you gave it all to me. Awesome.
Yeah. We just want to make Natalie that much more huggable.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Dad, how's your baby? Can you just in 3 words tell us how is she?
She is adorable.
Okay.
No, she's doing fantastic.
So much. She's
Thank
so
you
beautiful.
for asking. Thank you. Yeah, she's walking now. Well, not walking. She's cruising, and she is babbling. So she says "mama" now, which is really cute. Yeah.
Oh.
But enough about me. We're not here for me and my kid. We're here for both of you. So let's start chatting a little bit more, as I know you've been doing all weekend, about yourselves and about Wynonna Earp and your characters. So Greg, I'm going to put the hot seat under you first. How do you think Natalie feels about the non-Nicole members of the group? When the show started, he had the same negative opinion of Wynonna as the rest of the town, but that's clearly changed. Now they really have a trust with each other. When and how did that start to change, in your opinion?
Well, I think Natalie, I honestly think Natalie has some kind of a white knight syndrome where he tries to take care of, he tries to help out everybody. He sees himself, and so as a result, he might end up being a father figure to anyone who needs it at that time. In terms of the relationship with Wynonna, season 1, that is a challenge for me because he has evolved since season 1. But the question I ask myself, in order to try to make sense out of that growth, in their relationship, is why was he so tough on Wynonna in the first season, if indeed he is the kind of guy that mentors people and tries to help out. And I've come to the conclusion, just as my little way of rationalizing it, that it's interesting to me that Wynonna and Natalie must have had a history before we see them in season 1, when she was a teenager and causing the trouble. And I think that Natalie started out trying to be the father figure, mentor her, but it didn't work out so good because Wynonna is wild, so I think he ended up turning to tough love and learning that the only thing that really gets her attention is to hurt her first, and then try to go from there. And unfortunately, I think that that's the place that we see them in season 1. The turning point for me with the relationship between Natalie and Wynonna was, I forget what season it was. I think it was I can't remember. The scene in the morgue after Dawes passes away, after he dies, and the scene in the morgue where you find Natalie guarding the body, and it's that little exchange that he has with Wynonna, telling her that she doesn't have to decide anything right now. And I think that that's where their relationship started to grow, in the sense of maybe Wynonna trusting him a bit more, and opening up to him, however slightly, which leads to trusting him with hiding the ring, and and then this season, where we see almost the full journey between Winona and Natalie. Anyway, I think there's a lot more trust between them in this particular season 4.
Right. Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you there, that we're seeing sort of the culmination of the arc starting into a new storyline with Natalie and Winona here and their relationship to each other. But I actually think that The Ring was season 2. Am I incorrect about that? The Widows were season 2. Yeah, and that's right, when yeah. So it may have been that she trusted him enough to hide the ring.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
But really, there wasn't an emotional connection yet until after Dolls passed away.
Yeah, and that sort of stuff takes time.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just find it like that season 1 scene where she gives him the finger and walks away. That is, it's a tough one to reconcile, but I can't really allow myself to believe that Natalie was just a dick.
No.
I have to think that because of everything else he's done in the following seasons, he had to have been doing that for a reason, like doing it on purpose, intentionally, to get her attention. And that's really kind of a choice that I've come up with just to help me play the guy.
I think it fits perfectly. It absolutely makes so much sense.
Yeah. And because of his really dry sense of humor and delivery,
yes,
you can kind of take 20% of the harshness away from that exchange and just write it up to his personality of going, oh, great, you're back in town, are you? That kind of a thing.
Definitely. Kat, Winona Earp is a show that is both interested in parenthood and avoidant of it. Michelle, Julie, and Ward are all examples of complex and often absent parents. Nicole's parents are absent. Rachel's mother is dead. What do you think Winona Earp says about family? Why are biological connections often fraught, while family chosen by these characters is where they feel most at home?
That's a great question. I think what it says about family is that we can choose. I think it says that we're not bound to what we're born into. We're not even bound to where we live or where we are in our present circumstances, that we can change, that we have the power to change our circumstances and choose the life we want for ourselves. And I think it says a lot about all these characters have a lot of choice. I think the thing that I love is there are themes of being like Winona, I think of not powerless, but like tied to the curse or tied to things you can't get away from. So I think it does have a nice balance between the two things, but I also think that there's just a sense of like, you are not stuck to your circumstances. Like, you are not a tree, you can move. And I think I really like that about the show, because it reminds us all that we have the power to change our circumstances. And a big part of that is who we spend our time with. I think it's like, you are the culmination of the 5 people you spend the most time with, or something like that. And I think that's very true. I think it's a beautiful reminder that we're the people who choose that.
It's incredibly empowering.
Empowering.
Yeah. And I just want to say that the Twitch chat has been going wild since the start of the panel, and they're all saying #Bravo Burrell. And let me echo that. This season has been a tour de force for you, Kat, and it's been just amazing and wonderful to watch.
And that's so nice. I just got so lucky. Emily gave me so many gifts, and I felt like just trusted me with so many amazing storylines. And it's so funny because when we were shooting it wasn't until I was watching it back where I was like, whoa, yeah, wow, like what a journey. Because I think when you're in it, you're in the presence of it, and you're just playing, whatever you're doing that day. You're here to do the job and to the best of your abilities. But like watching it back, there were so many gifts. Like on this show, I don't know, Greg, I don't want to speak for you, but I just feel like the reason we have so much fun is because every day is different. You're never bored. You're never doing the same thing twice. And it's just a gift. I mean, you had wolf on your head and you were chanting.
Well, what's really interesting to me is that it's always been fun to work on this show, even from season one, because every one of the people in the cast has a different way of working. So depending on who you're working with, it's always different. It's always awesome. It's always interesting, because I really think that everybody has a different way of working. So we're all sort of playing, trying to find the best way to get along and to get the chemistry going. This season we've kind of gotten to know, or at least I have, because I haven't been involved in the series very much up until this season. That we've gotten to know each other so well that now we know how everybody works, and now it's on the next level where there's a lot more basic trust, I would say, friendship and trust within the cast, and that affords us more of an opportunity to play.
Yeah, it's a really good point.
It's almost like being on tour with a show, right? I mean, it's that sort of, you're developing, you start off on tour and you've been in rehearsal for 2 weeks and you get out on stage and you're feeling things out and you're still getting to know each other's rhythms and beats. But then, by week 3 of the tour, when you've been in each other's, pants, essentially, just not wait a second.
What kind of theater are you doing?
No, but I mean, like, you're basically in each other's shoes, in that you're in each other's space all the time. So you're, that's what I mean. I used the wrong phrase.
No,
Apologies.
I'm just joking. Did well.
Once a show opens, like for me, when I was doing theater, it's usually the 2-week rehearsal period that you start to get to know your cast. And when the show opens, there's a point where everybody knows the show so well that that affords you the opportunity to play with it, which is kind of the most important thing you can do in my mind in live theater, is to play within those parameters of the scene, of the story,
And that's where we all are now, which is...
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Good point, Greg.
Greg, jumping a little back to something we started to touch on before, and Nedley's backstory. We've had more of it now in this season 4, about him being a divorcee and a single dad. Is this in line with what you had imagined his personal history to be? And if not, what did you think it was?
Yeah, every little bit of information that comes in the script about Nedley's backstory is gold to me. Because I find it really hard and difficult to play a character who's trying to retire, and that's essentially what Nedley's has been doing for 4 seasons. And now in the 4th season, he's trying still to retire. And it's tough for cops. It's tough for cops to make that adjustment from, like, it can be dark sometimes for a lot of police officers to retire and suddenly end up not doing anything. But in terms of Nedley's backstory, that whole idea of Nedley being divorced, I don't know, for me, it might have been a stronger choice for him to be a widower, for his wife to have passed away, maybe got killed by a demon. There's a whole, that might have been something. But being married to a Taurus, that's traumatic. Sorry, Tauruses. But the fact that he's been shot 6 times, I kind of clocked that, because it says to me that in his 30 years as sheriff, he wasn't just handing out parking tickets and catching speeders. If you've been shot 6 times, unless he shot himself 6 times by accident, maybe he has seen some action. So, that opens up possibilities for me in my mind, in my fantasy, as the actor playing him. I go, well, if he has seen that much action, and if he has been wounded 6 times, then how is retirement going to go for him? And personally, I don't know if it's, I kind of hope that it doesn't go that well for him.
Retirement?
Yeah, I kind of hope he has a problem. I kind of hope that he has dark problems with it. So even to the point where he's starting to think about maybe handling some stuff on his own. The unfinished business, there's
Oh,
always that.
yes.
It's the
Mm.
what always gets me with playing a character is that I like to play characters who have secrets, because I find them more interesting to watch. And I've been playing Nedley as though he's had a dark secret all for 4 seasons, whether people have noticed it or not. But I've just been doing it for myself,
Do you know what
to
his dark secret
entertain.
is? Not that you're going to tell us, but like,
Yeah.
you know what it is?
I do know what it is, and I'll tell you.
I don't know if I
Really?
want to.
Oh, this is a
No,
scoop.
no, he wears red underwear. And
You
and I,
did tell
yeah,
me that.
and I'm wearing it right now. It's the same color as the shirt. And every time I play Nedley, red underwear, except for that one time that I didn't, and I wasn't very good in that scene.
So Greg, what you're saying is that really you're the one who should have the nickname Hot Pants.
Oh, I do have that nickname, but it's the third one.
The third one. Okay.
It's
Third one down.
Batman, Sparkles, and then Hot Pants.
Please.
Excellent.
Okay, can we talk about Sparkles for a second? Hold on.
What?
Where did you get these nicknames? What's happening?
I was in the pub and I was talking to my friend Jeff and Nolan, and they were talking to each other using each other's nicknames like Body Bag and Gravedigger. And I was sitting there and I said, hey, you guys have cool nicknames. Why can't I have a cool nickname? And at that moment, a waitress walked by and said, oh, Greg, you've got some glitter on your face. Just a second.
Oh, no.
And then Jeff said, well, there you go, Sparkles. And I went, no. And he said, yeah. He goes, that's it, Sparkles. And it lasted for 6 years.
Oh, no. Kind of walked into that one, though, Greg.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, those guys are just dicks. Sorry.
So, shifting away from that for a moment, Kat, at the end of season 2, Nicole and Waverly walked Alice to safety. It was a big moment for the queer community because queer people have had to fight for the right to adopt, to teach children, etc. What is it like to once again see Nicole in a parental role now with Rachel? Why is she especially suited to this?
I think Rachel saved Nicole and took care of Nicole just as much as she saved Rachel and took her in. I think Nicole at her core is a provider, a caregiver, and if she doesn't have someone to focus that nurturing protector energy on, she really falls apart. And I think because she had lost so much, everyone she cared about, the love of her life, she had failed in her eyes at finding them, at keeping them safe, at being able to find Peacemaker. Then she lost her job. And I think if she hadn't had Rachel to protect and care for and teach, I don't even want to think about the person or the side of her that would have come through, or what would have happened to her. I think it's beautiful. I love the relationship. I love seeing Nicole in that parental role. I love we have some really cute stuff coming up in the second half too. One scene in particular that it's just really, it suits her so well. Like I think it's a very natural fit for Nicole. And but I really think if she hadn't had Rachel to lean on and just to focus on during everything that happened, that she really would have fallen apart. Yeah. So I think it's beautiful. I think it suits them very well. And I'm really, it was beautiful. I loved that dynamic. And I like that. I mean, we talked about it a little with Martina. I like that she has a different dynamic with Waverly and with Winona as to Nicole. And I think that's really cool. And another example of chosen family, found family, adopted family, that, family is so much more than what we're born into in our blood.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So we've talked about who the parental figures are within the story.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you each think represent the parental figures on set?
Well,
Stumper?
no, I think in any production, the lead actor sets a tone the day's work. They set an example, and that's part of the job actually of having the lead, role, whether it's in a play or like a live theater or in any production. So I'd have to say Mel.
Good answer, Greg.
Is a parental figure on set, absolutely. But she's more like the fun uncle than than she is like she's completely irreverent about it, or Paulo. At least I do. I have a connection to Paulo that is, a director is sort of parental. Most of them are, and I have a connection with Paulo that I would say is parental.
Yeah, great answer. I think Greg's so right. I mean, your lead really sets the tone and the vibe of like what kind of show it's going to be. And I think Melanie, but like you said, she's still got that like the fun uncle. That's awesome. It's perfect. Greg said perfectly. I agree with everything Greg said.
Fantastic. Well, I'm going to turn to a couple of Twitter-based questions as we come to the end of the panel here. The first one here is from @Nedley's office. And the question is for both of you. Was it difficult dealing with the fact that Nicole and Natalie didn't give each other a hug when they reunited after 18 months?
It was for me because I couldn't help but play There's Something Up with Nicole. Like Natalie couldn't help but notice that. And I think that's a specific moment in that scene. And for me, it was confused by the fact of the Chrissy reunion. So there's that element of, is Nicole feeling awkward because of the two-daughter thing, or like why, or is there something darker going on with Nicole? But I think Natalie clocked it, although
definitely,
although it's not specifically addressed,
Yeah.
I mean, he's got all the gold. I don't know. But I think, it was weird. It was weird for me because I'm such I like hugs. And I the desire, it was perfect for the scene because it fed me. It's amazing how just like a little bit of stage direction can change so much, but like not hugging Natalie and not said so much more than words.
Yeah. And especially when it's set up by Winona awkwardly hugging Natalie.
Yeah.
And his daughter, that warm hug that he has with his daughter, there's almost it's sort of set up so that there's an absence, a vacuum of Nicole saying goodbye, I'll see you later, without a hug. It's, it really stood out.
I think the entire fandom took an intake of breath when that happened. Yeah, because knowing how much they mean to each other, and Natalie basically as Nicole's sort of proxy father figure, it really did. The entire fandom went, ooh,
yeah,
that hurts.
But it was still parental. Natalie's decision to leave that alone. Of course, that's just in the writing. There was no opportunity for Natalie to address it and say, what's wrong with you, or what's up, or his decision to leave that alone is still parental, because that's what parents do sometimes. They will tell me when they're ready. I'm going to give them room. And honestly, this season, I get the impression that Nicole, Kat, you could speak to this, but I get that so much going on with Nicole Hott that she's almost at a point where she's grown so much that she doesn't need Natalie as much as, she's at that place where she doesn't need him very much anymore. It's kind of the impression I get, because she's sort of. Do you disagree?
No, I don't disagree. My heart is like, no. But I do think, Greg, that last scene that we shot together, where I barely held my shit together, is a beautiful full circle of that.
Are you talking spoiler stuff now?
I am. Don't say anything.
I can't say anything.
So
I can't say anything.
Yeah.
No.
So
Ooh.
I see what you're saying. I think it's and like you said, like it is there is a moving on and a graduation for her into her next phase, and for Natalie into his next phase, next chapter. And I think they meet each other now in a different way. I would yeah, I think there is a progression of their lives, but I still want Nicole to need Natalie.
Well, I'm not suggesting, I don't think that there's any kind of jealousy involved with any
Oh
of the
no, no, no.
characters. Like I don't think it's sort of that. I think that there's just the relationships are growing to the point where they trust each other, and you trust people enough to leave them alone if they have a problem, and you
Yeah.
trust them to come to you when they want to, and that sort of thing. It's
Yeah.
a maturity in a relationship,
Right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, sort of the ideal relationship between a child and a parent when the child becomes an adult and has found their footing in the world.
Exactly that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I
Yeah.
definitely, it's not that you don't need your parent anymore, you do, but in a different way where you're more on a level playing field rather than sort of having a leader and a follower.
Yeah, and everything doesn't have to be resolved in that second of awkwardness. Natalie knows he's not going anywhere. He'll be around.
Right. Natalie will be around.
There's
And
tomorrow. There's next week.
exactly. And hopefully the show will be around for years and years to come. As you know, the fight for Wynonna is going ongoing. It never really stops. We're going 5 for Wynonna now.
Wow.
And I leave everybody with that. Please remember to hashtag 5 for Wynonna as we continue to fight to bring our show back. And I'm going to let you folks get back to meeting and greeting and say thank you again for spending this half hour with me. This has been wonderful.
Nice.
And everyone enjoy the rest of Earp CurseCon.
Thank you. It was great to see you again, Kat.
You too, Greg. I miss you.
All right. We'll see you later.
Bye.